Mike Huckabee's speech at CPAC was classic Mike Huckabee. Within 1 minute of starting his speech, he was already talking about God.
These are the things that I know. I know there's a God, and I know that this nation would not exist had he not been the midwife of its birth. And I know that this nation exists by the providence of his hand, and that if this nation forgets our God, then God will have every right to forget us. Ruth Graham Bell, the wife of Dr. Billy Graham, back in the 1970s made a profound statement. And she said 40 years ago that if God does not bring fiery judgment on America, then he will have to apologize to Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, she said that long time ago. I hope that we repent before we ever have to receive his fiery judgment. But I know that he is. And I believe that a nation that can remember him is a nation that will be remembered by him. And there is no other way to explain our history other than by his hand of providence. And I hope that that is something that Americans never are ashamed of and never afraid to speak.
So let's go over what he said there. He knows there's a God. He knows there's a God. Really, you probably would have won the Nobel Peace Prize or something, some sort of science award if you proved there's a God. But okay, he knows there's a God. He knows God built America. That's obvious. He knows we'll be punished if we forget God. We must repent to God. We must remember God. Our history is God. God, 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 God. Here's some more Mike Huckabee.
نزلت الآيات في الغار غار هراء وما من أحد من رجال العالم الذي هو عرف وعلم أن الله تعالى أنزل عليه الآيات اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق.
Imagine that guy right there said verbatim what Huckabee was saying. How would we react in that situation? We'd call him crazy, right? We'd say, whoa, this guy is probably a terrorist. He just said he knows there's a God as a fact. He knows God built his country. He knows we'll be punished if we forget God. He knows we must repent to God. We must remember God. Our history is God. The only way we can describe what's happened is through God. God, 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 God. If somebody says exactly what Mike Huckabee says in that language, with that demeanor, dressed that way, everybody in America would uniformly lose it. They would absolutely flip the fuck out. But they're basically the same person. See, this is a point that I've been trying to get across for so long, man. Fundamentalism is fundamentalism. Okay? These are the Christian Taliban and the actual Taliban agree on a lot more than they think they do. So, for example, on the issue of abortion, they agree. On the issue of gay marriage, they agree. On the issue of the so-called traditional family, in other words, treating women like their property, they agree. On the issue of nationalism, thinking their nation is superior, they agree. On the issue of religion in schools, you know, they don't want to teach science and all that other stuff that might undermine the idea of God. They agree on that. They agree on foreign policy. You always find, you know, the Taliban and militant Sharia organizations, they think, well, we need to spread our values. That's obvious. We are right. We are virtuous. We need to spread our values. That's exactly what Mike Huckabee thinks. What are you talking about? America is the rightful place. World policemen. We need to spread our values, spread our, you know, what we know makes this country great. Judeo-Christian philosophy, as they always say. So these guys, they are virtually the same person. Just one is a pudgy white dude from Arkansas who talks while he's got this goofy smile on his face. And the other guy just happens to wear the Muslim garb and, you know, speak a little louder but say almost exactly the same things.